What's up, you beauties? Welcome to an HW Hockey Combine Update episode. I'm Jim Icavone, and before we get going here, make sure you're subscribed to the fastest growing Flyers YouTube channel in Philadelphia. And remember to like the video after we're finished up here. Check out hwhockey.net for all of our latest episodes and articles all in one place. And you can find all of our merch over at bonfire.com. Just search HW Hockey. Okay, boys and girls, so some significant news or updates from the NHL Draft Combine up in Buffalo. A good friend of the show, Mr. Russ Cohen, renowned prospect writer and of EP Ringside and Off the Post Radio, is up in Buffalo for the NHL Draft Combine. And among the many players he spoke to, of which you can find on his site, sportsology.com, Russ spoke with Carter Yakemchuk. And if you guys have been watching the podcast episodes, this is a player that we've spoken about a lot since, I don't know, it's definitely dating back into the regular season. I would say probably since January, February, March. Would have to go back and make sure. But this is a guy that we've been talking about a lot. And it's someone that I'm hoping the Flyers take. And sorry, got distracted there. But Yakemchuk. So I described him in the description a little bit there, the kind of a prospect report. Obviously, you can find way more on this player on EP Ringside. You can find him on all of Russ's sites as well, NHLDraftBuzz.com, Sportsology.com, as I mentioned. But we spoke about Yakemchuk a little bit on our most recent episode with Russ. This is a player, obviously. So let me just say from the start, the reason I want this player, the reason maybe the Flyers should want this player, this kid has the offensive ability is there. Bomb shot, likes to shoot the puck. 31 goals this year in the season. So there is skill, there is potential there. Obviously, there are questions about his game. 6'3", over 200-pound player, likes to play physically. His defensive positioning will need work, right? But that's expected of a defenseman. Potential top four. Some people like to think that he can play, top pair. I'm not going to go as far to say he's a bona fide guaranteed top pairing defenseman because, in my opinion, he's not. And if you go, and like I mentioned, if you go to EP Ringside, if you read a lot of Russ's work, it's rare to find an opinion that says guaranteed top pair guy. But that's okay. The Flyers have a lot of players who are not bona fide top pair guys, and it looks like they're kind of going for, okay, let's build a solid six, solid core six of defensemen. And Yakemchuk would be that guy. He would fit that mold for me. Top four guy. What he's going to provide for you is, a power play shot, a shot that can get through to the net on the power play, which the Flyers don't have. I know they have guys like Cam York who are, very good season, very good defenseman this year. Sanheim has been tried out on the power play for years. People have asked, why doesn't Sanheim get more power play time? And to me, it's pretty simple. Sanheim can't get pucks to goal. And we saw this year how big of an issue that is for the Flyers and scoring goals in the power play, right? You need options. You need weapons to score. And Yakemchuk will likely never score 30 goals in the NHL. He will likely never score 20 goals in the season in the NHL. But just having the threat of a guy who can shoot the puck like that is all you need. You just need a guy that's a threat to get pucks to goal. You want to put fear into the defenders. They don't want to block his shot because it's heavy. It's going to hurt, right? They don't have a guy on the team who's got a shot from the point where players, they're not afraid to block these shots. So they'll clog the lanes. They know the puck's going to the outside. It's a very easy power play to defend. This isn't a power play episode. So let's talk more Yakemchuk here. I'm just trying to argue my point. The Flyers are interested in this kid. Russ confirmed it. Let me get the quote that Russ has here. I'll just get it out real quick. So you can find this quote on sportsology.com. As I mentioned, Russ talked to a lot of players. Yakemchuk just happened to be one. And it's a player that I like, so we grabbed it, and we're making a video about it. So direct quote from Russ here. Spoke with the Flyers, Yakemchuk. He smiled. Thinks there's a real chance the team's hoping to get him at the 12th spot. For someone like me, I'm thrilled to hear that because I think this could be a player that's the right choice for this team. And you might wonder, well, the Flyers have guys like Bonk, they have guys like Andre, Sanheim, York, Drysdale. Where does Yakemchuk fit in all this? Well, it's going to be a few years. I would assume at least a couple till we see Yakemchuk in the AHL or NHL. It's going to be a little bit, so they'll have some time to, correct some things because he's not close to a finished product, right? And I think we kind of talked about some of that on our most recent episode, 3 players the Flyers should draft at number 12. You guys can find that obviously on our YouTube page or on Apple or Spotify. Obviously, there are some things he needs to work on. That's why he's projected in a lot of mock drafts to go outside the top 10. If he was there, it's very rare that you find a perfect prospect, but if he was a perfect, well-rounded prospect, would likely be going top 5, top 3, right? And so he's not, and that's okay. I don't know if we want to view him as a project, but this is a guy that the Flyers could work with. They need some of the skills he possesses. Okay. So let's get a little bit to the scouting report here. We just bring it up. All right. Yakemchuk. Strong defensive game from the blue line. And I want to emphasize the word strong as in physical, tough, right? Because his defensive game can use a little work. In my opinion, he's a strong skater, but he's not a great skater. He's more so powerful, long strides. He skates like a bigger dude would skate. Covers a lot of ice, I would say efficiently, but needs to work on positioning and things like that because he's not going to be, in my opinion, the most fleet of foot. So positioning and intelligence, things like that, reading plays will be, things that he needs to work on in the NHL because obviously it's going to be a lot faster. Defensively, obviously, big player, 6'3", uses his size and reach to his advantage. Plays a physical game, which, Flyers fans would like. They need some of that on the back end. The Flyers a lot of their best players are smaller, especially defensively. Drysdale, York, both smaller guys. Zamula is tall in stature, but I wouldn't necessarily say that he's a big body. So, you need some of these guys. Ristolainen is probably their biggest, strongest defender. But when you think about guys clearing the front of the net, Yakemchuk will give you the ability to do that. Separates opponents from the puck, has the ability to clear the crease, which we just covered. Hockey IQ. He's solid hockey IQ. So he's known, in my opinion, more for his offensive ability. This guy likes to shoot the puck, and the way that his team kind of used their power play a lot of times when Yakemchuk was out there it was pretty obvious they were trying to feed him pucks. So kind of much like we say with Bonk in London, where his numbers maybe are a little inflated. That's not to take away from the skill the player has, but it's, in my opinion, the similar situation here. Like, it's so obvious they're trying to get that shot off out of Yakemchuk. So it won't be as easy to do at the NHL level, but he still possesses the shot. A good power play will find ways to get him open. And, obviously you need skilled players to do that as well. But having the option there should help stretch the penalty kill a little bit. And you should be able to get him open. You have an extra guy on the ice. So, yeah. I want to know from you guys. There's not much going on in the comments here. Sean C. chiming in. Worth noting that Oliver Bonk is 6'2". Yeah, for sure. So they're getting some bigger guys on the way. Maybe they recognized, hey, we have these skilled guys and, players like Cam York. They just traded for Drysdale. Even some of their better forwards, Travis Konechny, Morgan Frost, Joel Farabee, not the biggest guys. So, and I'm not saying the Flyers need size, like I'm not trying to be a caveman here, but they do. I mean, you look at the teams in the playoffs; they're good at protecting pucks. They're good in the dirty areas. They're good along the boards. At some point, they're going to have to prioritize bigger players. And like I said, I don't want to sound cavemanish because there are a lot of good, skilled players under 5'10" in the NHL today. I'm just saying at some point they're going to need to look at some of these guys. So big player, big stature, plays physical, can win pucks in dirty areas, can clear his crease. Oh yeah, he has a massive bomb of a shot. So I'm going to keep this one short. I just wanted to kind of put out a video on Russ Cohen's draft combine update on Yakemchuk there. As I mentioned numerous times in the episode, guys, make sure you give some clicks to Russ's site, sportsology.com. In my opinion, there's nobody covering the draft combine better. It's the most unique content you're going to find out there. And yeah, give him some clicks, some reads. So yeah. Oh, Valentina chiming in here. He did. I don't know if he called him specifically, but he did mention that there were some defense in this draft that could be fool's gold. And I brought up Yakemchuk, and I think Russ meant it in the sense where he's kind of a shiny object, right? You see the goals, you see the numbers, but there are definitely things that he can be better at. Do you know what I mean? And so yeah, whoever drafts him is going to have to draft him knowing that he's going to have to improve in these areas, because if the offensive side is not there, then you just kind of have what you have maybe with Cam York or Travis Sanheim. And God only knows the Flyers don't need any more, those kind of guys. No offense to York and Sanheims, but they need guys that can get the puck to goal. So yeah, Ty Shelton chimes in here. Who is Yakemchuk's NHL comparable? So I'm not great at these things, and it's very hard to do because it gets people's expectations up and things like that. But something I've been doing lately is I've been asking AI, who is the player comparable for this guy? And so I plugged them in. I've been using Fabric. I don't know if anybody uses Fabric out there, but you plug them in, ask, can you give me an NHL comparable for Carter Yakemchuk? And the player comp that it gave was Alex Pietrangelo. And let me see if I have this up somewhere. I'll tell you why. So player comp. Hang on. If you guys really want it, you're going to have to wait a second here. I got to scroll down. I might lose you. So maybe we could do the reasons why we went with the Pietrangelo player comp. We'll talk about it on our show on Wednesday this week with Jack. We got player comps for Zegras. Okay, so we'll have to talk about this on the show next week. Twitcher chiming in, the physicality is why the Flyers are so high on Hunter McDonald. Yeah. They're gonna need some of these guys. So we're all like, oh my God, they're really high on Hunter McDonald. And you look at the Flyers defense core without Ristolainen, and you have Sealer, obviously, but I don't think anybody really wants Sealer in the top four. I still look at Sealer as this is a guy that should be playing bottom pair. I don't really want him playing top four. So, but when Yakemchuk, let's say the Flyers do draft him, when he will be playing for the Flyers, Sealer will be long gone. And so will a lot of guys. So, yeah, just relevant news, in my opinion, from the Combine. It's good stuff reporting there from Russ. He knows what the Flyers fans want to hear, that's for sure. So I feel like I pumped them a lot. Make sure you guys go check that stuff out. I'm telling you, you're not going to find more unique draft Combine content out there, from player interviews to quotes. So go check out sportsology.com. I'm going to wrap this episode up. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and talk to you as soon as we get more relevant Combine, injury, player buyout news. See you guys.